This video is called Least Common Multiple and Greatest Common Factor, commonly referred to as the LCM and the GCF. Let's go over some definitions. The least common multiple, the LCM, is the smallest positive number that is a multiple of two or more whole numbers. The greatest common factor, or the GCF, is the largest positive factor that is common between two or more numbers. The first part will be on the least common multiple, the LCM. First things first. When we think of the factors of 8, we come up with 4 times 2. 4 and 2 because 8 equals 4 times 2. But if we need to find all the prime factors of 8, then 8 equals 4 times 2 becomes 8 equals 2 times 2 times 2. A prime number is a number whose factors are only itself and 1. So the prime factors of 8 are 2, 2, and 2. To find the least common multiple of two numbers, for example, 8, to find the least common multiple between 8 and 12, we have to first find all of the prime factors of each number. Then we have to write the highest number of each factor in either of the two numbers and multiply them together. So you find all the prime numbers of each number. For 8 we have 2 times 2 times 2, and for 12 we have 3 times 2 times 2. So then we write the highest number of each factor of either of the two numbers and we multiply them together. So you notice that for 8 we have 3 2's. So even though 12 we have 2 2's, the highest number of that prime factor would be 3. So we have 3 2's. That's these 3 2's right here. And then in 6 times 2 we have 3 as the prime factor, and since there is no other 3, then it's just going to be one of those. Then we multiply all those numbers together. 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8, times 3 is 24. 24 is the least common multiple, that's what the M stands for, of 8 and 12. So here's a question. Find the LCM, or the least common multiple, of 6 and 9. We have to do those prime factors. So what the prime factors of 6 are 3 and 2, and the prime factors of 9 are 3 and 3. So there are three threes. So the highest number of them, of course, is 2. So we have 3 times 3 times 2, and we get 18. The least common multiple of 5 and 4, these are the prime factors of 5, and these are the prime factors of 4. So we have 2 times 2 times 5, and that equals 20. You could also look at it this way. 6 times 2 is 12. 9 times 2, 18. So far we don't have a multiple that's the same. 6 times 3 is 18. So the least common multiple of 6 and 9 is 18, because here we have it right here. You could do the same thing for 5 and 4. 5 times 2 is 10, and 4 times 2 is 8. Those aren't the same. 5 times 3 is 15. 4 times 3 is 12. Those aren't the same. 5 times 4 is 20, and 4 times 5 is 20. And there we have it. Part 2 is on the greatest common factor. Alright, so in order to find the greatest common factor, we're going to need to recall the divisibility rules. And these rules are what tells us whether a given number is divisible by 2, whether it's divisible by 3, 5, 6, 7, and 9. So these are the rules. You might have them written down or printed out for you so that you could follow them later. It's a little bit of an error. There we go, little error. Alright, so just read these over. You're probably most familiar off the top of your head with if a number is divisible by 2, it's an even number. If a number is divisible by 5, it either ends in 5 or 0. Some of these other ones take a little more thought, and it's really easiest if you have these printed out so that you can follow it. So to find the greatest common factor of two numbers, we're going to list all the factors of each number. The factors are the numbers that multiply together to equal the number. So 1 times 36 is 36. 2 times 18 is 36. 3 times 12 is 36, etc. So we're going to use the divisibility rules to find all the factors of each number. That's how we get all of these different factors. So that's the first thing you do. Then to find the highest number, you find the highest number that's a common factor of each number. So the greatest common factor of 36 and 40, the only number that they have in common is 2. So not to confuse you here. Find the greatest common factor of 20 and 36. So the first thing we do is we use the divisibility rules to find all of the factors of 20 and all of the factors of 36. And here they are. And then we look at both sets of numbers and we say, what's the highest number that's the same between these two? Well, the highest one is 4. So the greatest common factor of 20 and 36 is 4. What's the greatest common factor of 48 and 63? List all the factors of each number and then find the number that is common, the highest number that's common between both of these. And the greatest common factor here is 3. The greatest common factor of 36 and 48. We list all those factors of each one, and then we scan down the line. And even though they have a 6 in common, they have a 4 in common, they have a 3 and a 2 in common, but what's the highest number they have in common? And that's right here, 12. Alright, well that ends this very brief video on finding the least common multiple and the greatest common factor. Enjoy the activity.